Yo buddy, what's going on my fellow gamers? Veteran X here, and no need for a long YouTuber intro, let's get right into the video. So the Arbok deck is one of my favorite strategies within all of Pokemon Pocket. So we're going to go over the cards, the ratios, and then some strategies, and I'm going to go over some gameplay and provide some deep commentary on my plays, misplays, things you can watch out for, and how you can help outsmart your opponent. So what we're going to go over now, the Arbok Assassin build. So to start things off, 2 copies of Ekans and 2 copies of Arbok, baby. Arbok is the boss monster of this deck. You know, some people might argue that Weezing might be, but I truly believe that it's Arbok. Arbok is the one that's going to snipe your opponents, they're going to trap them, and is one of your most consistent win conditions within the deck. So Arbok, if you didn't know his move, it's only one move. It's called Corner, which requires 2 energy. It does 60 damage, and when it attacks an opponent's attacking Pokemon, they can't retreat. So you can use this to trap your enemies, and you can use that to pick them off like it's nothing. And it feels so good with a well-timed corner, how you can trap your opponent. And with Weezing, so how I play this deck, I use Weezing as a defensive shield and an easy swap. So if you don't know, we're running 2 Koga as well. So Koga can allow you to swap out Weezing from your active spot. And what this does, it heals Weezing, and you get to play your Coughing from hand, and you also get your Weezing back in hand too, so you can play that on the next turn. Now, what you may not have known is that if you have another Coughing already on board, then you can just immediately play Weezing like it's nothing, because that Coughing already has its summoning sickness done, and you can go ahead and evolve it as well, the one that's already on the field anyway. Both of these Pokemon are integral to the deck, so I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'll put this in superhero terms. Arbok is like Captain America, and Weezing is like Thor. Thor is extremely powerful, and he can easily beat Captain America in a one-on-one fight. But Captain America also has the strategy mindset. He can gather the Avengers together, get everybody on one team, build that camaraderie, and lead everybody to victory. Both of these Pokemon are extremely powerful, and they have their own roles, and neither one should be discounted. They're both amazing, and they're both needed for the deck. And here's the spicy tech right here, Farfetch. So some versions of this deck run Grimer and Muck. I do not like that. It is so slow running copies of Muck. Muck can sometimes be a brick in hand, and it feels so bad. And the one problem that I have with Grimer is its retreat cost. It requires 3 energy to get this basic Pokemon off of the field, and that hurts your tempo so much. And if you take a look here, look, Ekans, retreat cost 1. Coughing, retreat cost 1. Farfetch, retreat cost 1. During my gameplay, I'm extremely aggressive with this deck. I'm not trying to sit behind the lines and build up 3 energy on a Pokemon so Muck can use Venusaur. No, I'm here, I'm doing swaps, I'm playing aggressive, and I also want to make my opponent uncomfortable as well. I can't do that with Grimer and Muck. They bring the fast-paced gameplay to a halt. And the thing is, if by some miracle, if you're able to get 3 energy on your Grimer or Muck, then you are probably going to win the game anyway. Like, let's be totally real here. So the beauty behind Farfetch is that with 1 energy, you can do a solid 40 base damage move, and you can use it to a retreat. That helps establish the synergy between all of these cards, and it is amazing. Also, a fun fact is that Arbok only has a 2 energy retreat cost. So if I need to swap it out, sometimes I'll probably play X speed, or I'll time, you know, I'll give an extra energy. That way I can think 2 moves ahead of my opponent, and if I need to do a timely swap or not. And then we can step into the supporter cards now. So at the minimum, 2 copies of Koga, 2 copies of Sabrina, and the entire Professor Pokeball engine. So I think Sabrina is the best card in the game. I don't think there is any reason why you should not run 2 copies of this card in every single deck within this game. This card is so versatile, and it will win you games by itself. I can't tell you the amount of times I've had an opponent concede just because of this card alone. So if you didn't know, Sabrina, what she does is she switches out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. It's just as simple as that. And if you do a well-timed switch with Sabrina, you can snipe your opponent's bench, and you can use Arbok, or hell, even use Farfetch, or even Weezing, to take out your opponent's Pokemon, and it feels so freaking good being able to do that. And I only run in 1 copy of X-Speed and 1 copy of Giovanni. Sometimes 2 copies of Giovanni feels a little bricky, but I definitely love when a Willow time Giovanni is able to go off. You're able to pick off your opponent when you just need that extra bit of 10-piece combo, baby, and you get in there and pow, hit him right in the mouth. That's a bad man right there. And now that's a quick breakdown of the deck, the ratios, and some things of that nature. And now let's go into some good old replays, baby. All right, so we got our first match here, and I believe I'm playing against a Mewtwo player. And in this replay, I'm going to break down how fast this deck can truly be. So let's take a quick look at my hand here. So I open up with Sabrina, Farfetch'd, the Pokeball, Koga, and Weezing. I'm going to obviously put down Farfetch'd in the starting zone, and I will say this hand isn't the best, but thankfully we do have a Pokeball here, so that means we can get a guaranteed basic Pokemon from out of the deck. We go ahead, and my opponent, he plays Mewtwo EX, and I'm looking like, oh shit, now how in the heck are we gonna get out of this? So thankfully my opponent goes first. I gotta say, going first in this video game feels really bad. I don't know how that can be reworked. I don't know, I've seen some creative ideas, but man, it does not feel good going first. I'm just going to lay that out there. So my opponent ends on with 2 Mewtwo's and a Ralts. So we top deck and X speed. Okay. Now immediately I play the Pokeball because I got to get me something else. And we pick up the Snake, baby. So we have to play the good old Ekans. And there's not too much else I can do here. So I go ahead and use Farfetch'd. And that's why I love playing this card, because I can get an easy 40 piece out on my opponent, do some chip damage, and you can keep the ball rolling here. My opponent goes ahead, they play another Ralts, and then they pass for turn. Now we top deck Coughing, baby, so you know what that means. We have Weezing and Koga. They're about to be live, baby. We're going to start making some moves out here. So I go ahead, drop down the Coughing, and this is very important. So I place the energy on Ekans. The reason I do this is because Weezing only needs 1 energy for it to get going with tackle. It doesn't need a huge energy investment like freaking Muck or something like that. So I go ahead and I put the energy investment in the Ekans just in case if I'm able to draw Arbok on my next turn. So that allows me the flexibility of either giving my next turn energy to the Arbok I draw, or just give it to Weezing and let him do some things right there. And the beautiful thing about Farfetch'd, once again, he has a 1 energy retreat cost. So I get my damage out on my opponent, he draws from deck, and he plays red card, and that totally screws up my entire hand, man. But look, we look at this hand. So I want to thank him for that red card. Hey, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. And that's the thing with red card, because you never know if you could fix your opponent's hand. And he kind of gave me a boost. So we get Sabrina, which is the best card in this game. And I'm trying to tell you, we get Arbok, so he's going to be live next turn. And we get Koga for whenever I get Weezing again. Yeah, buddy. Now that's what you like to see right there. So we top deck in S-Speed, and man, we're off to the races now. So you already know what we're doing. We about to play the bigger snake, baby, the Cobra spelled backwards, Arbok, baby, and I retreat him because he has 1 energy cost. I do not use my X-Speed on Farfetch'd because in this situation, I need to give that energy that I have to Arbok. He needs the energy so he can start hitting people in the head. You know what I mean? So I saved that S-Speed just in case I need to use it in the future. And you know, we're off to the races now. We're about to pick up on some big damage. We about to do a lot of damage. Look, bam, hit Mewtwo right in that big ass forehead of his. And that's 2 points right there. Easy 2 points, baby. Now my opponent has to respond. Look at his board. I'm not worried about this thing at all because Mewtwo, his only move that's available is Psychic Sphere. That's not enough to knock out Arbok, and he doesn't have Gardevoir on the field either. So he can't even use his one-hitter quitter move, that 150 damage dealing move, and it doesn't matter. He plays Sabrina, it seems like. Yeah, it doesn't matter, and he concedes from there. And dude, I think this fight took all of maybe 3 minutes, or if even that. And we got the victory, baby. Look at that, the victory screen with Cobra. You're going to see a lot of this. Trust me. You're going to see a lot of card of the game with Arbok. Man. All right, let's go right into the next replay. Now, in this next showcase, we're going to be going against a Venusaur player. And I actually made a critical misstep in this match, and I wanted to show this to you guys because that's part of the learning stage. You got to learn when mistakes are made, and you got to see where you can grow from them. So I'm not going to try to hide from my losses or anything like that. I want to be able to show this thing off because this is a great learning experience here. So my opponent opens up with 2 Petalils, and let's take a look at my opening hand here, and it's a really good opening hand. So as you can see, I played Farfetch'd starting off, right? And if you look, I have 2 Pokeballs, Arbok, Koga, and Professor Oak. Oh my gosh, I'm about to get so many cards out of my deck in this turn. So let's see what we can do here. And I get that first attack. What could possibly go wrong, right? Well, let's see what we got. So we pick up Coffin from the Pokeball, and then the next Pokemon we get here from the Pokeball is, of course, the good old Coffin. We got 2 copies of Coffin. I really wish I would have seen Ekans so Arbok can be live on the next turn, but hey, it is what it is. And hey, look at that, we got Ekans, man. So what in the world? This is like one of the best opens you could possibly have, man. We are about to be on and popping here. So I go ahead and I drop the energy on Farfetch'd. All right, so we go ahead and we leak slap into that Petalil, What the heck was that? And now it's my opponent's turn. He gets the Professor Oaks off, and he's able to go into Lilligant, and he's starting to get things rolling here. His engine isn't quite ready yet because Lilligant doesn't have 2 energy, but he's thinking. He's trying to see what he can do here. And now he passes off to me, and now we're back in the game, baby. So you already know, in this situation, you need to give energy to Ekans because since you have Arbok in hand, you want to have Corner live as soon as possible. You don't want to waste time on that. So that's what I do. I give off the energy to Ekans. Yep, and then I evolve him into Cobra, and then I play Professor Oak, and I'm able to draw Weezing and Sabrina from deck. Man, this is looking great. I play Weezing from hand. Oh my goodness, we are off to the races, right? So from here, I use another attack with Farfetch'd because there's really nothing else I can do here, and my opponent goes. And at this point, I was like, wait a minute, I'm playing against a Venusaur deck. Doesn't that mean that they have like the heals somewhere, you know, with Erica healing 50 damage? And it didn't even cross my mind that they used that really powerful healing card, man. So at this point in the game, I am in pretty good control here. So I need to see what would be the best moves to do here. Look, I have a nice solid hand. I have a Sabrina in hand, extra Farfetch'd. I got another Coughing for extra plays, Koga. Like, things are looking great for me right now. So what I do, of course, I put the energy on Arbok because, hey, I need to get him live as soon as possible. And then I play Coughing just in case I get the Koga off, and then I get Weezing back in my hand. Then I can go ahead and evolve him immediately. So I go ahead, I pick up the KO on with Farfetch'd. So my opponent goes into Lilligant, and Leaf Supply is now live, so it can start building energy on his back row, and that's what's going on here. To build up that Bulbasaur so he can go straight into Venusaur. So he doesn't have a Giovanni in hand, which is cool with me. And from here, I got, man, look again. So I retreat in the Arbok because that's the sensible play to do here. And then I play Sabrina. Now, I wasn't keeping track of how much HP Bulbasaur actually has, and I overextended by using Sabrina because Corner does 60 damage. So it's not enough to pick up the knockout on Bulbasaur, and because of that, my opponent gets an extra turn to start building and setting up their board, and from there it kind of just snowballs. You'll see from here. But in the moment, it did not cross my mind, and that will not be a mistake I ever make again, because you'll see why shortly. So I swap out into the Bulbasaur and I use Corner, and I don't pick up the KO because of that crucial mistake there. So that I left damage on the board. That's my fault right there. Okay, but we live and we learn, right? So we keep pushing forward. It's my opponent's turn now. He's Professor's Research. Let's see what he draws from here. And from there, he has Ivysaur on the board now, and he has another energy on it. And because I did not pick up the KO on this Bulbasaur, that's another turn that's going to sit on the field, and that's another turn I have to burn in order to get through his Pokemon. Alright, so it's my turn currently, and like I mentioned before, I have to spend another turn fighting this Bulbasaur, which is doing nothing. Man, that was such a crucial mistake not being able to take it out within that turn. I'm at another impasse, right? I could place Sabrina, get another one of his Pokemon that's in the bench, trap that one, and try to take it out, right? But at that point, I think it's really diminishing returns. I should just save it until another turn. So in order to avoid my Arbok being knocked out by Venusaur, right, I play X speed so I can save some energy on it, and I swap it out with the Farfetch'd. So that way I can just get a quick, easy KO. And also, I didn't go into Weezing because I didn't know if he had Giovanni in hand, and I didn't want him to use his Venusaur, that 100 dealing damage move on Weezing with Giovanni that will one hit KO him. I did not want that, so I swapped into Farfetch to avoid the Giovanni play. And as you can see, he now has 4 energy, and Venusaur EX comes out, and yeah, his moves are completely live, baby. Like, this is very, very tough for me. But all hope is not quite lost yet, because look, I still have Arbok here and I have Sabrina, so I can swap out into Lilligant. You know, things are still looking good here. So I go into Arbok and then I play on the next turn Sabrina. Right at this moment in time, I'm feeling good. I'm like, man, I'm about to hit you with a corner, bam, right in your mouth, baby. Like, what you gonna do? And you're stuck. You can't do nothing. You can't do Nathan. What you gonna do, man? But remember how I mentioned I totally forgot about Erica? Yeah, you're gonna see it. Erica, 50 damage recovered. That's another turn. Lilligant's gonna be on the field, and man, that does not feel good at all. I totally forgot about that card. It's such a damn good card within the grass strategy. And now I'm at a huge impasse at this point. It's like, man, I probably need to swap out Arbok so I can get Weezing on board, get some poison off, some chip damage, and then try to hopefully bring Arbok back so that he can finish out the rest of the game here. But at this point, I just kind of accepted, like, yo, dang, I think that might be it. And I keep Arbok in to get one more turn of Lilligant to be stuck. I'm like, man, come on, it has to work. But they play another Erica. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, there is no way this is possible. And then they knock out my Arbok, and then they're off to the races at this point. There's nothing really I can do. We're going to turn 17. It just drags on and on and on. And then eventually Venusaur is able to come out, use Giant Bloom, and it doesn't take out my Weezing, actually. We're just going to keep skipping ahead here, and it's like, can I still come back and win this? And honestly, I can't. Venusaur just has too much HP. He has too many heals. I'm not able to put out enough damage in time. And then even if I was to swap out my Weezing here, then I would go in either Arbok or my other Weezing here. And then all he has to do is just sit back and relax. He doesn't even use Giovanni. He uses Sabrina, actually. And then at that point, I just concede. And it was such a good match. And we went on to 19 turns. Yeah, Ark, whoever you are out there, salute, man. Hey, I definitely had to make sure I left a like after that. That was such a fun match. And now let's go into some redemption, baby. Now in this replay, we're going against a Marowak deck, which is not good for a darkness deck because we have a 20 damage weakness to these type of Pokemon. So, oh my goodness, how in the heck are we going to get out of this? Well, you know what? Hey, we don't call this the assassin deck for no reason, baby. So they open up with Professor's Research and Cubone, and then they start making some good plays. He has Sandshrew and Cubone on the board. Let's take a look at my hand. I drew Koga from the top of the deck. I have Weezing, Arbok, Sabrina, and Giovanni, and good old Ekans on deck. So that means my Arbok is going to be live very, very soon, and I'm happy to see that. But what I'm not happy about is that Ekans is in my active Pokemon spot. If I had a choice, I would rather Ekans be on the bench and start gathering up energy and either have Coughing or Farfetch'd out there dealing damage or absorbing damage so that Ekans can come in and do his nasty business and start sweeping. But it is what it is. We got harder the cards on our side, hopefully, here. So now it's my opponent's turn. They go in the Sand Slash, and you know what? I'm starting to feel a little bit better here because I have Sabrina and Arbok in hand, and Arbok's going to be live next turn. And for whatever reason, he goes straight into Marowak, and he can't do any damage on this turn. So, yeah, this is free lunch for me. I'm not mad at that. They're going to pass for turn, and I draw Coughing, and guess what? I put 2 energy on them so I can get Arbok live on the Ekans, baby. Oh, yeah, now it's time to start doing some nasty, some filthy stuff. Sabrina, the best card. Get out my face. Like, Sabrina is the literal version of the Uno reverse card. Like, are you kidding me, man? This Sand Slash is going down next turn. Easy. He can't swap out, can't retreat, can't do anything with it. So my opponent plays Sabrina. I swap out Coughing into the active zone, but that doesn't really hurt me too much because Coughing has a retreat cost of 1 energy. So that's what I mean. I can keep getting my swaps, my tempo isn't lost, and we can still keep putting the pressure on my opponent, and that's what it's all about. So in this instance, I actually use Weezing to pick up the KO because he only has 40 damage. So Weezing can take him out, get him poisoned, and then I use tackle, and bam, that's gonna get rid of him. So the reason why I didn't swap in the Arbok at this time is because with Weezing, he can take some damage. I don't want my Arbok to get hit by Boomerang even once, because it's game over with the plus 20 damage. If he just get one head off of this dang Marowak, my Arbok is done. So I have to leave Weezing in just in case if they get at least one heads, then I can keep battling here. So we finish off the Sand Slash, and now my opponent goes into their Marowak. And let's see the coin toss. Uh-oh. Man, let's see what he gets. And he gets a Tails. Wow, he gets 2 Tails. Like, what the heck? That 0 damage. He did Nathan. Absolutely nothing. Nathan, zilch, nada. Nathan. He did Nate to me, baby. And that's crazy. That's why I do not play coin flip decks. I don't. I hate RNG. I hate RNG in video games so much, and Pokemon is no exception. I hate things like that, that your strategy has to revolve on coin flips or luck, or, you know, things of that nature. I'm not here to play that stuff. I'm here to play indefinites, and my opponent, he's really feeling that right now. So what I do, I then play Koga to swap out into Arbok, and you know, I could have probably kept Weezing on the field, but you know, I was trying to think ahead here, and I put another energy on Arbok because I was like, wait a minute, if my opponent had 2 tails just now, then maybe there's a chance they can have 2 tails again. And that's me doing the RNG thing, and I should not be playing that way. But hey, I'm trying to be aggressive. I want to get in my opponent's face. I want to make them uncomfortable, and I want them to feel the pressure that we're bringing here, because we ain't come here to lose. We came here to win, baby. So we go off with Arbok. It gets a corner off. That Marowak is stuck. He ain't going anywhere. And also I have Giovanni in hand, so if by some reason I'm able to get back to Weezing and whatnot, I should be able to pick it off in a reasonable amount of time, because he doesn't have any points on me at all. Right now the score is 1-0. And now here's my opponent. Hey, he plays a potion, so that kind of plays around my Weezing here, so he gets to survive even longer. But once again, it's up to the coin toss. Hearts of the cards, guide me and guide him away from victory. Oh, he has 1 tails, and bam, he yatta, baby. Look, 0 again. What the heck? That man got 4 tails in a row. Like, I would be so heated right now, and he conceded, understandably so, because after that kind of luck, like, I would rage quit. I would easily rage quit, and I would totally understand why. Like, what the heck? Listen, guy, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Actually, I'm not. Don't play freaking coin flip games, baby. Just play something definite and be a winner. Some other quick tips I like to go over is that if I have Farfetch and any combination of Pokemon in my opening hand, I'm always putting Farfetch into the active zone first. That's because Farfetch can easily retreat with 1 energy cost, and he can easily attack with just, again, 1 energy cost, and doing that 40 damage is such a huge punch to the face. Your opponent feels that 40 damage each and every time that happens. So Farfetch allows me to be versatile and get things going in that nature. If I have Coughing and Ekans in hand, then I'm playing Coughing into the active zone, and I'm putting Ekans on the bench because I want Ekans to hurry up and get 2 energy as quick as possible so Arbok can be live. And then Coughing, he can just sit there, absorb damage, and if I go into Weezing, then I can use Weezing, the poison, and then Koga to bring him back into the hand and get him fully healed, so I can keep on making my opponent pissed off. If you couldn't tell, I'm having a blast with this deck, and I can't wait to continue more and more matches to keep dominating out here. If you want to hear about a Pokemon card that I think is absolutely freaking underrated, probably one of the most underrated in the game, then check out my video here on Farfetch'd. If you want to hear about a video game that I'm extremely excited for next year, then check out my video here for Crimson Desert. And now, with all of that out of the way, get out there and let's go play some freaking video games.